you've got another person. Okay. Welcome to the, oops, wait, I've got the wrong screen up. Welcome to the last, here we go. Yeah. Welcome to the fourth class of this IELTS and Academic English intensive program. I'm so glad to see you here, and thank you for joining me throughout. So today we will be doing a second round of working on the task 2 essay. So last week we looked at reading and understanding that question, picking it apart, deciding what to include, what not to bring in, okay, which is really important, deciding what are the most important things to do. And with the greatest help of all, we had someone say, I don't know anything about this topic, and then come up with some great ideas. So that's the key. It doesn't matter. You're not writing about your specialist subject. You just need to be able to talk about things in ordinary language. And that's why the BBC 6 Minute English is so good at giving you language to use on a wide range of topics. You never know which one you're going to get. So today we're going to take apart we're going to take apart an essay together and make another plan for a new one. And I'm going to try and get us to write our introductory paragraph together. And I'm sure we can do it. So hopefully this will work well. After that, we're going to look at the speaking exam, and I'll show you a few video examples of the exam so you can know what the parts are and what to expect in the exam. And then we've got one more special slide in there. There have been some questions about different exams, including the GCSE. And so, yeah, in fact, here I'll scroll down to there. So this is today and the exam review. So what we're going to do is unwrite task 2, work on that again, go through the speaking exam, and then we're going to look at other exams. There have been questions about, should I take a GCSE? Should I, what are the other possibilities? All right, and I can show you a chart. I've got a chart in there that will give you an idea of what each of the exams can qualify you for. All right, and that's the key, is you want to make sure that you're in what will give you the right qualification for the thing you want to do. All right, so I'll do that, and then we're going to do a final skill review on the exam, and we're going to spend some time actually using some of the resources. I want to show you that on screen so that you know what to expect when you go there, and I hope that you will practice a lot. All right, let's get started. Here we are. So we're in writing task 2. This is the second half. And what do we remember from the first class on this? What's the first thing to look at? What is the most important thing that you need to do when you start task 2? Can anyone tell me what is the most important thing to do when you start the task 2 essay? You've turned the page to you've turned the page, and there you are. You're sitting there. Yes, thank you, Wilfred. Yay, Ahmed, you've got it right. Excellent, fantastic. Exactly. The first thing we need to do is understand the question. All right. It's not what you say in your essay, it's how you say it that counts. Do you understand the question and address all the parts, stating your opinion? Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change this. I'm going to say stating an opinion. All right. You've got to take a position, state an opinion. Does it have to be your most deeply held personal belief? Does it have to be exactly what you believe? No, no, it doesn't. You're absolutely right, Wilfred. Yes, no, no. What is most important is that it is a position that you can support with examples, right? That's the key. Can you support that opinion with examples? If you can, write it. It doesn't matter. No one's going to come back and say, but you said you believe this. No, no, it's not important. What they want to see is, can you support the state, take an opinion and take a position, state your opinion, and support it with examples. That's it. That's the key. All right. And do it in a logical manner. So let's start with someone's, remember, uh, you might figure out this is um, possibly a reason that someone was asking you about funny ideas. Okay. So um, let me pause this for just a second because I have to change the screen and do one small thing. 2 seconds. There we go. Okay. And resume. All right. So here is someone's introductory paragraph. You notice it's only 2 sentences. It doesn't need to be much more. So read this and see if you can tell me, what is the question they were answering? Okay. What is the question they were answering? Whether you use your own opinion or take a different a position that you don't necessarily agree with, it depends on what's easiest for you to write. If you can think the reasons to support something that you don't agree with, go ahead and do it. If it is the easiest one to write. It's all about filling that chart with ideas. Okay, has anyone figured out what the question was that they were being asked? And yes, this is a silly one. That's why we started out by talking about silly questions, silly ideas, funny superstitions. If you figured out what the question was that they're answering, this is the introductory paragraph. Excellent. That is a good assessment. Here's the original question. Most people feel that clothing is necessary, but naturists think it is not. Discuss and give your opinion. All right. Exactly. Yes, I made this question up because I wanted you to see that it really isn't about what's in your essay. It's about how you write it. Okay. So shall we see how this person managed to defend their position? All right, so there we go. Customary to wear clothes. So we've got that. All right. Optional. And we've already said what we're going to talk about. They're practical and pretty, right? And here we go. So let's see how they defended this. This is our first paragraph. See if you can find the important parts. So what are the two reasons that we've given that this is going to talk about? Look at that first sentence. What are the two things, two ideas that will be in this paragraph? We're going to be how they look and convenience, which means how functional they are, right? So we've got looks. And so we're talking about something being eye-catching. A bright headscarf or a fancy shirt will always get attention. All right. Exactly. Right. And now we've got our second idea, the convenience. Clothes are good at protecting the body. So we've got protecting the body. And there's some examples of sweaters. There's an example. I'll make those green. So we've got our examples. And says keep skin cool. Right. So those are examples. And here we've got eye-catching. Right. And there's our examples. The scarf and the fancy shirt. Right. Oops. Yeah. I'll put green for an example. There we go. All right. So we've got our ideas and we've got our examples, right? So, and remember I said last time to always link to your main idea, to your opinion, right? So what does that final sentence do? What does this final sentence in this paragraph do? Oh, that's a great sentence. You could write this better than I did. Excellent. Indira, that's brilliant. So what is the function of this last sentence? It's in italics right now. I'll underline it too. There we go. What is that sentence doing? How is it doing it? Remember what was the opinion stated in that introductory paragraph? Remember? Okay. So that's my statement. Yes. So what is this one? We've already, okay, so we've put the opinion statement up here in our introduction. Remember, we always put our opinion statement in the introduction. Remember that the metric is to support that opinion throughout the essay. All right. So that's why I really wanted to highlight this sentence, because that is linking back to the opinion. So here's wonderful description of why it's great to wear clothes because of their looks and convenience, right? And this is the link to that opinion again, so that it ties this paragraph into tightly to our introduction. Is that clear? Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Exactly. And that's key. This is, once again, we're still looking at that band 6 to 7 in the task achievement. And that's where this is going to happen. Oops, I have no idea what just happened. Okay. And Corin is here. Excellent.
Hi.
Here, I'll stop sharing and go to speaker view if you need to say, yeah.
Oh, is this a good time, Jan? I could just wait till a better time if you like.
Uh, we're in between paragraphs, but
Yeah,
it's a
so
good,
what? I'll
fun.
wait. What?
Oh no, it's a fun stopping point,
Yeah,
pausing points. Do
just
you
a
want me to
pause.
pause the recording or keep it going?
Yeah, oh, it's fine. Yeah, you could just leave it. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
I'll just stop the share for now. There we go.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Jan. It's lovely to see you. And thanks so much for being part of this course, everyone. As you know, this is sadly the last of this current short course. I know Jan gives you lots of ideas about things to do later on, and we'll be in touch with you with other events that we're doing through Olive. Some seminars and perhaps some conversation classes also for English development. And we'll also be sending you a form to ask for your feedback next week. So we'd be really happy if you could take a look at that. And maybe we'll also set up a group discussion about what you think about this course and how you think it could be developed, because we always act on your feedback where we possibly can. So yeah, there are some other possibilities coming up for if you're interested and you feel this could also be useful for you. We've sent out an email asking if you'd like to give a short talk to other Olive students. So it doesn't have to be complicated or anything, just about something that you're interested in. And the other possibility is that we're putting together a book of writing from Olive students, and we're going to be sending out an email about that next week. So if you enjoy writing, could be poetry, could be fiction, could be non-fiction, and you'd like to have a small piece published, we're just making a self-published book of this with the University of Bristol. So that's another possibility for you following on. Great. Well, please do be in touch anytime. Use the Olive Online UK email and we'll always get back to you if you have queries. And also, particularly if you are making applications, we have tutors who can work with you one-to-one on those. I think that's it for the moment. So thank you, Jan. I'll just bow out now. Thank you.
All right, no worries. Thanks for
Thank you,
coming.
Corin.
Okay, nice to see you. Take care.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, oh, great opportunity for me to do that. There we go. Right. So back to our essay. Thanks to Corin. She's really the engine that makes this all go. So I'm really glad we had a chance to see her during this class. So great work. I had a really another good contribution in the chat. That's brilliant. Well done. That's another argument. That's a great that's a great argument. I like that. Um, for contributing to this. So in oh right. So here we are. We've got our our introduction. We've already talked about why clothes are practical and pretty, right? So what's our next paragraph going to be? What's our next paragraph going to be about? All right, we've just had a paragraph that said clothes are practical and pretty. They can keep you warm or cool, and they can look good, get your people's attention. So what's that next paragraph going to be about? Come on, you can say it out loud if you want. You are always welcome to unmute and speak. What's our second paragraph? Exactly. So the second one, so we've had our counter argument and we have said, but though these are pleasant effects of wearing clothes, they do not make it necessary. So we've linked to our opinion. So now we need to support our opinion, don't we? All right. So what do you think? So what are the two things that we're talking about here? Yes. Marcella, I think you should write an essay of your own. That's beautiful. I like your comment there. Right. So what are our reasons? So we've got two. I haven't, there's not a strong uh, main topic sentence, but so what if we're saying that um, they're superfluous and they bring attention. Okay, so superfluous, just a fancy way of saying, are not necessary, which we could say that as well. Are not necessary because our skin and hair are all the protection we need. If it's too cold, one can always go indoors. If it's too hot, a bath or a shower will help you cool down. Right. Further, all of our clothing can be bright and pretty. Yeah, exactly. Unwanted attention. So, if you do not want conversations with strangers, going to town without clothes, wearing only your epidermis will make sure that certain that no one will speak to you. I hope there's just the slightest hint of a laugh. I tried to find the silliest thing that I could defend so that you could see that what's important are the examples, right? Um, so the example is so the attention, the example is bright clothes will bring unwanted looks and comments, right? That's an example. Up here, we don't need clothing for protection because here are two examples of things that will keep you comfortable, right? So it's the examples that are the strength, right? And so, do you think I actually believe what I've written? That is correct. I do not believe this. but it was quite a lot of fun to defend it and to come up with examples. All right. So this is a challenge. And one of the things that it will do is it will help you think flexibly, right? So think about the superstitions that you told me about at the beginning of class, right? Think about one of those. Could you write an essay defending it? Could you give examples? You can make them up. They don't have to be real, right? I first wrote this for someone who was being very, very serious about the essays. And I really want everyone to understand that it is the structure and the support that you create for it that is what you are marked on, not the idea itself, right? So long as it answers the question that was asked. Okay? So let's go to the conclusion. And there's our conclusion. All right. So even though clothing can serve some practical purposes, it is hardly a necessity. Our own natural beauty can shine through our skin if that is all we wear. There we go. All right. So does that in any way change your idea of how these essays work? I hope so. Let's look at how we did it. So here we go. We've got our examples. So when I was coming up with ideas for this, I had ideas for using clothes and against using clothes, right? And that's how the whole thing worked. So this is the idea generation stage. And that's what you can do with it. All right. Like the only thing, the only perfect IELTS Task 2 exam essay is the one that you can write and find examples for and support. It's the idea that you can support that matters. All right. So let's try one. Okay. So write the essay that is the easiest to organize. Write the opinion you can think of the most examples for. Use the best vocabulary you have, but don't put in oversized words if a phrase will do, right? If there's a word that you think might fit, but you're not sure, and you've got 3 words that you can use instead, superfluous, not necessary. Okay. If I couldn't remember, oh gosh, but I learned that word. I wanted to use that fancy word. But if I can't think of it, that's fine. Not necessary also works. The point is always to have enough words to say what you need to say. Right. So let's take a look at another one. Pictures from space show the Earth in a beautiful light. Although most people believe the images prove the Earth is round, many people believe that they show it is a disk and flat. Explorers and others have demonstrated that the Earth is round, but some say that there are other explanations for their discoveries. Discuss both positions and give your opinion. So, are you going to defend that the Earth is round or that the Earth is flat? Okay, we've got some ideas. They've given us some background information. We could talk about pictures from space, um, the results of exploration, right? So we've got some background information. So this is the 2 opinions section. So this is the key, right? That's the key to the question. What do you think? Is the Earth round or flat? Can you tell me two things that you could use, two examples that you could use to defend that the Earth is flat? Okay, give me an example that tells you how do you know that the Earth is round? What's an example that proves that the Earth is round or demonstrates or shows? According to NASA, yes. NASA. Uh, excellent things. I just here are the horizon. Excellent. Yes. Globes. Globes are round. Excellent. The moon. Yes. Excellent. Fantastic. If you had to explain why people think the world is flat, what would you say? Remember, we have to discuss both sides. Excellent. Water. Excellent. Oh, right. But it could be flat and there could be different stars because it's really big and flat. Okay. There we go. I've made it shorter. It's only for the space. All right. Any other I like the water one because it would spill off the edges if you know, how would the water stay on the ball, you know? Buildings. Right? If it was round, the buildings would fall off. Is that right? Oh, come on. Yes. That's great. Really good, Gazella. That's wonderful. Yep. Uh, it looks flat. There we go. Fantastic. Okay. So there we go. It's flat. Yeah, we don't see any curves. So once again, the more you think about, so every IELTS sentence question, this is going to be the process. You'll start thinking, oh, I only know about one side, but then you'll realize, no, actually, I know more about this. Okay, right. So here's your challenge. Right now, write. So remember, you've got to discuss. So let's write an introductory paragraph. We've got lots of information. We could take either side. We've got examples on both sides. So we've got our two paragraphs here, haven't we? So what is our introductory paragraph going to say? What is our paragraph going to say? What are you going to say in it? Let me just put up a new slide. So, oops, don't do that. I didn't ask for design suggestions. So, um, I'll put the question up here. So what I'd like to do, see if you can come up with, how would you summarize the question leading to your opinion? I mean, there's a lot of ways we could say this. We could say, although the vast amount of, oh, despite, actually, there we go. This is a good use for the word despite. The, oh, I want both. Okay, so that despite the vast amount of evidence for Earth in a sphere, some people, well, let me say, there are those who continue to believe the Earth is flat. So that's going to be, yes, very good. Very good. Excellent. That's a really good first sentence. Wilfred, that was really good. Excellent. That's exactly what you want to do. Now, state your opinion. What are you going to do? So you've summed up the question. There's two ways of doing it. You've got Wilfred's, which is excellent, and mine. Now, write your opinion statement. What position are you going to take? Right? So it's discuss both positions and give your opinion. What is your opinion on this? Are you a flat earther? Will you be defending roundness? Lots of contributions are better. Are you thinking? Try and do some writing. What is your opinion statement? Excellent. Okay. Yes. Yep. The globe's shape. That's good. Anyone else? Come on. State an opinion. Are you a flat earther or part of the spherical uh, conspiracy? Right. You can also suggest in that how you're going to um, how you're going to approach talking about the arguments for a flat Earth. All right. And this is one of those ways that you build lots of words um, into a an essay. So there's yours. One, I'm gonna. No, it's hard to write. Yes, great. No, it's really good to paraphrase as much as you can. Excellent. Wonderful. Okay. So you could even use the chat. The many people believe the Earth is flat because it looks flat in everyday experience. Um, so, but that's great. So despite, yeah. So we're looking at that introductory paragraph. Mhm. Um, I've done one with slightly fancier words, but that's neither here nor there. All right, we're still at just about the same amount of words. Yes, very good. Oh, that's excellent, Wilfred. What paragraph would that sentence go into? Excellent, Fatima. That's brilliant. Even though some people believe the Earth is flat, scientists prove that it is round. That is a really good position statement. Really good. Okay. And yes, I know how awful it is to try and type in the chat, and the fact that you can't edit anything is terrible. So I'm going to do all the editing for you. Don't worry. There we go. Excellent. That's great. Oh, that's great, Nana. That would be a really good position statement as well. because you're setting up. Oh, that's okay. Control X. All right. Let's see. There we go. Um, there we go. Click copy. There we go. Okay. It's a really good um, second sentence for there. That would be a great position statement. So that way you could take that first paragraph and talk about how our everyday experience tricks us in many ways. We don't necessarily it's, and so all of the examples up here of things that appear to prove that the earth is flat, and then followed up with the, um, the scientific opinion in the second one that you agree with. So, really good. And what I want you to see is that, so this, oh, shoot, I don't know. Oh, I can't. Let's see. I wanted to try and do a word count on this because that's the exciting thing. If you write the introduction, I sort of hoped to show you that the word count takes care of itself. I've told you this before. The more detail and examples you put in, the easier it is to hit that word count, and the stronger your essay will be. So that's all the key to this. But by writing a really good introduction where you paraphrase the question, um, then uh, you're so Um, yeah, that's a really good setup. You've got everyone who's contributed has got something really good to work from. So that's excellent. Sorry about my computer pinging. I'll try and turn that off in a bit. Right. So, really good. Wilfred, according, that, did we put the third? Yeah, I did. All right. So, lots of good ideas. You really can do this. So I'm waiting for you. You've got my email address, you've got the WhatsApp. Send me your essays. I want to see what you can do, and we can have a conversation outside of class. I really encourage you to do this. Uh, and so, how do you feel about this essay? Do you feel the courage to actually look at these questions, make one of these charts, and decide what you're going to write? Because that's the key. That first 5 minutes. Once you've done that and you know what goes into those paragraphs, you know that you're going to put most of these details into that first paragraph and most of these into that second paragraph. So you know what you're going to write. And all you have to do is keep working on that grammar uh, and remember to use examples. So, any questions on this at all at this point? How do you feel about writing about silly subjects? Does it make it a little easier? I hope so. All right. So let's take a really quick break, just long enough to grab some water, um, and I will come back with the speaking exam. All right. So here's the next round. See, there's my email. Send me your essays. Right. We can probably keep going, right? Anyone need a big break, or can we just have a sip of water? Let's go for the speaking exam. Off we go. I don't feel like waiting. So unless somebody really wants a break. Good. Okay. Let's keep going. So the speaking part of we're finally to the end. So all the work we've done up to now is what you will face in your first, in your exam appointment day. So when you go into the exam center, you will start in the morning with the listening, or you start at the beginning with the listening. You will then move on to the reading exam and on to the writing exam. So, job done. We finished the 3 hours, and now we can go home and worry. Or, actually, my favorite thing to do with that, I remember when I turned in my master's dissertation. Yes, Wilfred.
Sorry, the high years, we start from the speaking exam or the writing exam.
The Your test day will begin with the listening, and then the reading, and then the writing, all in a row. So this is why I always say, eat a good breakfast and take a bottle of water that you've taken the label off of, so it's got no writing on it. And you'll be able to take that into the exam with you, so you don't faint in the middle of the exam. All right, because it will be, by the time the admin stuff happens, it'll be 3 hours. Okay. The speaking test is done at a separate time. Okay, this will not be straight in line. You will have a break after the written exam, and the speaking test will either be later that day or on another day before or after the exam, but within a week of the other exam. Okay. It is an interview with an examiner. It may be online, it may be in person. It depends on your exam center. They do them online now as well. It will be recorded. Both the speaking test and the writing test will be marked by two examiners. All right. So two different examiners will mark your work. So one of them will interview you and give you a mark, and the second will listen to that interview and decide and give you a mark, and those marks will be compared. Um, it's not common for them to be far off, but they're that's how it's done, is to make sure that there's no bias or uh, anything else involved in the marking. Okay, so you will have two examiners, the one that you're speaking to and someone else who will listen to the entire conversation and give you and mark you as well. There are three parts to the speaking exam. The first is a simple interview. Uh, it's just questions about your day-to-day life. Um, there might be a question about family. There might be a question about where you live. Um, Depending on how they do these, I've noticed they've been moving. The examples I've seen have been moving away from those kind of questions. I did have one student who it would have been very traumatic for her to talk about her family, but she was part of a karate community. She is a part of a karate community who have become a second family. And so we talked together about what she could do, what she could say if they asked a question about something that she was not able, that would be hurtful for her to have to answer. And it's the the way to do it is to say, um, you know, my family is a difficult subject. The family I was born into is a very difficult subject, but the family that I have made for myself within the karate community is beautiful and supportive, and here are the best things about them. All right. So you can shift topics within this conversation. If there is something that you really need to not talk about, you can say, that would be very difficult to talk about, but very uncomfortable. You can tell them that it would be uncomfortable to talk about rather than difficult, and change the subject. Where I live is a very painful subject for me. Let me tell you about where I lived before, or where I would like to live. Okay, so you can shift if there are questions that are a little triggering, a little bit difficult, a little painful to answer, you can change the topic. All right. And if you, when you're preparing for the exam, please contact me. We can talk through a lot of these things and talk about things that you would feel the need to shift the conversation, because that's a skill that I can help you with as well. As to how do I approach, they've asked me a question, it's, not going to work for me. So how do I answer something better? And it can be done. So don't worry about that. In fact, in the examples that I show you in a few minutes, you will see how the examiner changes a question when someone says they can't answer exactly the question she asked. So I'll show you that as well. All right. So part one, introduction and interview. The trick is answer the question and give an example. Okay? Answer the question and one descriptive thing. So, what is your favorite fruit? Okay? I want everybody to answer, what is your favorite fruit? And I'm putting it in the chat. What is your favorite fruit? No. Are you going to just say the name of? No. Give me the name and a reason or memory. Okay. And here's my example. The fruit I love best is figs. And that's because every time I taste a fig, it takes me back to my grandmother's garden. Okay, so everybody can answer that in the chat. All right. Thank you. Right, the second part is, some people say, oh, I have to give a talk for 2 minutes. Well, no, what you have to do is tell a story. So you're going to be given a topic and you'll be asked to make some notes. We'll talk about how to do that and then talk for 1 to 2 minutes. I'm still going to ask you, tell me a story. If you think I'm going to tell a story, then you'll have a great answer for that. Okay. And the third part are some further questions about that topic. And listen carefully to these questions, because those questions in the third part are there to stretch you. The examiner is your advocate. No, I'm not crazy. The examiner is your advocate. Their job is to see how high you can go in the marking. That's their task. If you fulfill band 6, they need to be looking at what are the qualifications, what are the points that have to be hit to make this a band 7 response. Okay, that's their job, is to see how high you can go. It's a wonderful thing. All right. So those questions are there to draw out greater grammatic forms from you. So, all right. How are they assessed? Fluency and coherence. Fluency means, do you talk? If I ask a question, do you talk? Do you answer? Can you speak? Can you speak in full sentences? Can you are you afraid to speak? I mean, I wouldn't be ready for this in German because I tend to freeze. So it's the willingness to speak that's really important, as well as being able to complete a full sentence and um, have a logical flow to what you say. Okay. Lexical resource refers to the range of vocabulary. Um, Grammatical range, same as lexical and grammatical. It's really the same as the writing exam. Um, do you have enough words to talk about an unfamiliar subject? That's the key. Can you speak using some compound and complex sentences accurately? Remember that whole grammar thing last week about compound and complex sentences? And those of you on the WhatsApp group, I'm going to keep you doing more of those practices on the WhatsApp group. I'll give you a challenge. Take these sentences, turn them into a compound and complex sentence. All right. Pronunciation is marked. It is all about clarity. All right. This is not about do you have an accent or not. It's can I understand you? Again, this is purely an exam of communication. Can you make yourself understood? It's the key. And I know you can. Right. And if you want to practice speaking with me, please let me know. I'm on WhatsApp. You've got my email address, all of this. I am super happy to practice with anyone who wants who wants to give it a try. We can practice. We can try a practice exam, or simply have a conversation. It's quite all right. All right. So these are the range that are done. This is what we're looking for. So looking at those bands, fluency and coherence is always going to be oh, India, that's fantastic. We need to talk about mangoes because I love picking them up in the Wimbledon market, not Wimbledon, sorry, Wembley markets when they're still warm from the plains when they've come over in season. So good, mangoes. Right. Fluency and coherence. Can you speak at length? Can you talk about what you want to talk about? You still might have some hesitation and maybe some repetition and self-correction. Uses a range of connectives and discourse markers. All right, that's band 7. Look at all the mistakes you can make in band 7. You're going to be okay, I promise. All right. Band 6 is willing to speak at length. They might lose track of what they're saying sometimes. Okay, may lose coherence. And not always perfect. Okay. And band 5 can't actually speak at length. All right. Tries to maintain the flow of speech, but with some real hesitation. Okay. All right. So speaking at length is about the flow. Structure is part of the coherence. Okay, so it's the structure of your sentences and your ability to produce them. That's what we're marking. It's more of these than I thought. Okay, so here we are. Questions about daily life. Come on, I need another fruit in there. Awesome on the mango, Indira. That's really well said. Okay. What is your favorite food? Um, so in this, what you need to do is keep the sentence, the answers short, but not too short in the first section. What you want to do is, again, answer the question and give an example. What is your favorite fruit? All right. Two sentences are the best. Right. Answer the question. This gives you time to think. Now, if I ask you, what is your favorite food? My favorite food is that a good answer? What do you think? If you repeat the question, is that going to raise your mark? If you're just repeating what you just heard. Okay. Do you live in a flat? Yeah, exactly. Because if the question is, what is your favorite food? And you say, my favorite food is, all you've done is repeat it. You haven't put in any new language. You've just repeated what was said. So if instead you say, so of these three answers, which one is the best one? Which one is the best one? So we've got, what is your favorite food? One person answers pizza. Second person, my favorite food is pizza. The third person, I really like pizza. Yes, exactly. It introduces new language as well as answering the question. Now, the next thing they should say, because. That. Okay. What would you say next? I am made of pizza. Excellent. Excellent. Why? Okay, Casala, try a full answer to this. What is your favorite food? Oh, biryanis are gorgeous. Now I'm getting hungry. Excellent. Yes. Grammatically, the most delicious food of all times is that would be the best way to write that. Okay, excellent. I know it's a challenge to grammar and chat don't work very well together. So when you want to expand your answer, always you've got the five W's and the H. What, where, when, why, who, how, and how. Yes, what, where, when, who, why, and how. Oh my God, rice and chicken. I love it. Excellent. That's wonderful, Wilfred. Ahmed, well done. Excellent. My most favorite. That's wonderful. Excellent. You've all got the idea. Put more language in. It always works. All right. What is your favorite free time activity? What is your favorite free time activity? Which is a classic IELTS worded question. Excellent. Try and come up with two sentences. Oh, sorry, I should put a question mark on the end of that. Oops. See, it's a problem for me too. What is your favorite free time activity? I prefer watching TV shows. That's very good. What kind and why? Okay, give me one more sentence for that. answering one or more of these questions. Oh, excellent. That's good, Indira. That's a really good compound sentence. And that's the thing. Oh my God. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, in my spare time, I love to ice skate because it always makes me feel like I'm flying. Yes, that's great, Ahmed. That's an excellent sentence. Really good. Taking a break and just relaxing, the calm before I have to drive back into the chaos. Well done, Nana. That's excellent. 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 Oh, you guys are going to ace this. I knew you were brilliant. So good. That's fantastic. So taking a break, I'll put some of these quotes into the chat, into a slide, because these are fabulous. So I'll make a slide out of all of these before I publish the document because I think it's really helpful. Okay, so you guys are totally on top of this. What is your favorite free time activity? Answer the questions. You don't have to answer all of them because they're short answers. Well done, Wilfred. Yes, I know. There's just no life without it. Walking and listening to music because I feel energetic during this. That is great. Really good. And positive energy. Lovely. Those are really good. And you can also do aware. So there's lots of possibilities for that. But I think you guys have got this really well. The perfect balance is 2 sentences, 3 at the longest, because there's a lot of these little introductory questions. And so if you just give them a 2-sentence answer, they'll ask you the next question. And then you can demonstrate again how brilliantly you interpret their question and build your answer in beautiful compound sentences. Oh, fantastic. Have you noticed that as you are giving these explanations, your sentence structure is more complex? Really well done. This is what I mean about examples give you the kind of sentences you need. All right. So that is the beginning. That's it. We're going to get to know each other. There's the introduction at the beginning and these really basic questions about what life is like. Now, thank you. Now we'll move to part 2. I'm going to hand you a card with a topic on it. You have 1 minute to make some notes. Here's the paper and pencil that I've provided. You have 1 minute to make some notes, and then I'll ask you to speak for 2 minutes. Now, in this moment, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You've been handed a card. Remember what you did at the beginning of the essay exam. Part 2, the essay. What did we do? What did we do? Generated ideas. Okay, so this is the key. Yes, exactly. And so I always talk to my students after they've been to exams. I'm always asking them what worked. How did it go? What worked? Universally, people come back with Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for telling me to make notes of examples and details for the speaking exam, because I forgot what I was going to say halfway through, and all I had to do was look down at my notes and I could keep talking. All right. So this is advice that comes from the people who are currently, well, one person who's currently working on her law degree at Queen Mary. Okay, so this is real advice. Make sure that you make detailed notes. So let's look at a couple of things. What kinds of notes? The next thing to do when they say it's time to start speaking, what do we do to make the anxiety go away? Restore the blood flow to our higher functions of our brain. Yes, now speak. And if you can pretend you're telling this story to your favorite auntie that you haven't seen in 6 months, or your best friend, that's the best way to do it. Tell a story the way you would having a conversation with a friend. All right. It will make you the most natural, the most relaxed. You will remember more. But let's take a look at our card. Okay, here's an example. Here's the card. Go ahead. What do you think? What would you write for notes? Okay, describe a person you know who you think is successful. You will need to say who that person is, how often you see each other, and what that person does. You can say more, okay? You have to make sure that you include these 3 pieces of information in your notes and why you think they're successful. But you can say more than that. All right. So who would you choose and what would you say? You had 1 minute to make some notes. What would you write? Card. The purpose of it is to give you something to read, to respond to, and then you're going to talk for 2 minutes. All right? It's to give you the topic. So I'm going to, in fact, here's what I'll do. I'm going to pop that into the chat. But you still have that to look at, even though we're going to go on to the next screen. Okay. Do not write sentences. If you write a full sentence, so remember, this is like that chart. You can even make a little chart if you want. All right. Don't write in full sentences, because if you do, you'll repeat them. And repetition is one of the only ways that you can lose marks. Okay. Make sure that you cover all of those bullet points. All right. Follow the same sequence as the topic and write at least 2 pieces of information for each point. And while you're sitting there, if you think, oh, I want to make sure I use this word, good. Write down a few words that you want to include, if there's some vocabulary that you want to include. So let's look at some examples of a response from this, and you tell me whether it will work or not. Okay, so this is one person's notes. All right, what do you think? Is that a good set of notes? If not, what's missing? What's missing? Would you be able to speak for 2 minutes with those as your notes? Yeah, detailed examples. If you forgot what you were going to say about her business, would you have anything to help you? Okay, let's look at another set of notes. Yes. Well, you could say, who's that person? My mother. How often we see each other twice a year. She is a businesswoman and she started her own business. So it is covered all four of those points. But there's nothing to speak about. Yes, too brief, not detailed. But how about this one? We've got a name, how old she is. I used to see her every day, now only 2 to 3 times a year. And that's particularly good. We've described her business and given things to specifically talk about. What she does. That's exciting. This is the exciting part. Or why you think she's successful, because she has a vision. She came from nothing, worked long hours, built it all herself. Look at all of that, you could say. So, which one are we going to do? There you go. And that's exactly the thing. Because, while you're talking about um, your childhood with her, all of these other parts could just fly out of your mind. You don't necessarily, because you're, in the moment, it's easy to forget what you were going to say. And that's why having little pieces of detail that you can easily turn into a sentence. That's your winning strategy. All right. So that's the way. So, um, oh, right. There we go. So that's how you get through. And did you notice? Okay, so this is a description. We've got a person who is successful that I know is my mom. I see her twice a year. She is a businesswoman and she started her own business. That's why I think she's successful. Right. It doesn't say very much. And it only talks about now. So this one, there's the opportunity to talk about the past because I grew up with her. I can talk about my childhood with her, right? And um, we can talk about what she does in the present, how she struggled to get here. So once again, you're using different tenses, and um, and we've got some vocabulary to help us through it as well. So here we go. All right. So part 3, that's it. And it's just tell a story. Honestly, tell a story. So there's another one that's describe a film that you saw when you were a child, who you were with, when did you see it, what was the film about, and why do you remember it? Okay, so the questions tend to be built like this. And I'll give you, there are resources again in my practice exam file about, so you can look at them and say, okay, how would I answer this? All right, part 3, this is where this is where the examiner has to work and work hard for you. Okay, their job is to ask you questions that, yeah, their job is to ask you questions that give you a chance to demonstrate the breadth of your grammar. Can you use conditionals? If this happened, then this could have been the future. All right. Yes, you can, depending. So remember what I said in the first part, that the you can say that would be a painful topic, but I can talk about this. All right. In part 3, yes, you can ask the examiner to change the question. And I'll show you an example of that. All right. I have one of these recordings is fantastic because it really shows how the examiner is working for the benefit of the candidate. All right. Not in part 2. I'm afraid I think part 2 is like the writing exam. You're really going to have to answer the question that you've got. I have not heard of any reference that you can change the second question. Okay, so but otherwise, yes. All right. So I'm going to take us off to a British Council website, YouTube, actually British Council YouTube channel with recordings in it. There we go. So this is an excellent resource. I recommend that you watch all of these, even the lower ones, the ones that are lower than the band that you need, and the ones that are higher. Okay, because they are all really, really helpful. What I want you to focus on is, we're back in question land again. What's the most important part of part 3 of the speaking exam? The questions. Okay. It's always the questions. So I'm going to dive straight in because we will eventually run out of time. As you see, there's a lot of different band levels to listen to. So I highly recommend that you listen to many of them or all of them. All right. Big deep breath and more practice. Okay. Let's watch this one because I want you to tell me, put your hand up or talk to me afterwards about, I want you to listen for the time when she changes the question to make him able to answer it. Sorry, that was awkwardly said.
So in Germany, what kind of people are famous?
Mostly sports people, I would say. Like our favorite sport is soccer. So yeah, people who play this sport. Famous as well are politicians, but they are not admired or they're not liked or anything.
So there's
like
a
that.
difference between being famous and being admired.
I think so. I definitely think so. Yeah.
And politicians are only famous.
They are only famous because it's easy to blame them for everything what happens. At the moment, we have the financial crisis in Europe, especially Greece and Ireland really have to suffer at the moment. And yeah, it's easy to blame something. You can't blame a soccer player, but it's easy to blame the politicians.
How about movie stars? Are they also famous in Germany?
Yeah, they are also famous, but not the German movie stars or music stars. We don't have a big, a big branch of this. More, American, mostly US American movie stars. But it's hard to, it's hard to think that they are our role models or anything like that. They're living on the other side of the lake, and yeah, they're just in the television.
What about in the past? What kinds of people were famous in the past?
And especially in the 70s, 60s, I would say musicians, because yeah, of this freedom, of this lifestyle we had there. Yeah, these musicians who lived this.
And how about the future? Can you give me a prediction for the future?
Definitely not bankers.
Not bankers.
Yeah, because of the financial crisis again. Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe people who serve the planet and who wants to save the planet, work for this, so environmentally people. Would be quite likely because we have this theme of global warming at the moment. It's well discussed, and yeah, so I would say this could be likely.
Now let's talk about celebrity culture. Often famous people are used in advertisements. Can you give me some examples of that?
I don't watch a lot of television, but television or see advertisements, so I can't give many examples actually.
Well, how about for instead of for products, how about celebrities being involved in advertising for causes or charities? Have you seen examples of that?
Yeah, sometimes like for environmentally things. I can't name any celebrities, but it's quite often that they use this image. A celebrity has done something in his life and many people admire him for the one or the other reason. So it's quite a good thing that they use a celebrity because he as a role model stands for something, and he stands for the environment or maybe for a product. So the people who admire him wants to buy this product, wants to do something for the environment.
Now let's change to the negatives. What kind of possible negative effects might a celebrity have on younger generations?
Yeah, as I said, they are role models for many people. And this rugby star who was in the television the last weeks and months go on the wrong path and taking drugs or just living the wrong lifestyle, then the young people think, hey, it's cool what he's doing. So he's famous, he has money, he's taking drugs, so hey, that fits together. I want to do the same.
So you think that his behavior actually can influence how younger generations choose to lead their lives?
I definitely think so, yeah.
So do you think that a celebrity has a moral responsibility to behave in a better manner in public?
As long as he is famous, as he is in everyday life, he definitely has. He's not only the normal person. If he is at home, it's okay what he's doing. I don't care. But at the very moment he goes public or is on television or in the newspapers, he definitely has a responsibility because millions of people are watching what he is doing.
So would you say that there's an obligation, that a person who becomes famous, they have an obligation to behave in a more ethical or moral manner?
Yeah, and if he can't stand this pressure, then he should take care that he's not being famous somehow. I don't know whether it's possible somehow, but there is this obligation, definitely.
Well, thank you very much. That's the end of the speaking test.
Thank you.
Right. So did you hear?
We've been talking about a well-known person you like or admire.
Stop. No, stop. So did you hear the moment when she changed the question? Did you hear that? When they were asking about, when she had asked him about celebrities, and he said, I don't watch television, I don't know anything about celebrities. Did you hear that? I know it was a lot and it was fast. Okay. And did you notice that she changed the question to, because he had talked about being environmentally active and interested in charities and thinking that that is what's important and that's what important people will be doing. So she changed the question when he said, I don't watch television at all, so I can't talk about that. She changed it to, well, what about celebrities advocating for environmental issues. And then he was able to answer it, which was perfect. And so, one of the ways, so Ahmed, one of the ways that you can overcome the fears of the exam is by watching these and see that the examiner is really on your side. They're not there to mark down how many times you how many errors you have made. They will be assessing, obviously they're looking at it, but the only errors that really count against you are if you make the same mistake over and over again. He made lots of mistakes, and this is a description of his marks. There were quite a few phrases that he didn't have quite the right word for, like everything what happens rather than everything that happens, things like that. But he still got a band 7 because what did he do? Was he able to speak at length? Was he able to speak at length about a subject? Yes. Did he stop and search for words or just keep talking and use other words, even if he didn't have the exact word? Yes. Exactly. And did he give reasons for things, reasons and examples? Yes, exactly. That's it. Okay. So I keep saying reasons and examples. Yes, they were all supported, Nana. Reasons and examples do two things. They prove that you can develop an argument through logical support of that argument. So you can make a statement and you can support it with examples. And when you do that, you create compound and complex sentences like you all proved when we were talking about what's your favorite fruit. So part of it, I think part of the confidence in this exam, it comes from one, practicing, because then what I dream of, what I always want people to know, what I want you to experience is I want you to go into that exam, open the paper and go, I know how to do this. I know that this is the way they phrase questions and this is the kind of answer they're expecting. And then in the reading, okay, with this question, they're asking me to find a piece of data in that article. They're asking me to find an idea in that paragraph. Okay, because you understand, you've had the practice, you know what the questions are generally looking for. And when you know what the questions are generally looking for, because you keep getting, and this is the great thing, is like now is the time to get it wrong. And this actually moves straight into, are there any other questions about the speaking exam? All right. If you think of any, bring them up at any time, but I'm going to go into one more little review because this just flows so evenly into that. Here's some more. There's the exam recordings and the Fast Track IELTS playlist. I really recommend those. And also today's materials and recording in my Google Drive as well. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to save other exams for later. Let's talk about the basic exam strategies, since that was Amit's question. How do you do this? How do we do this? All right. Well, remember, it's about communication. Are you communicating? You're probably doing it right. Okay. So, what is the key to all of these parts of the exam? Every single piece of the exam, I have told you to focus on one thing. What's that? Come on. Wilfred? What is the main focus for this exam?
The questions?
Yes? Yes, the questions. Exactly. That's it. It's understanding the questions. But that means also becoming familiar with the kinds of questions they ask and the kinds of answers they're expecting. So, if you read and understand the questions, you will find the answers easily and quickly. Listening questions tell you what to listen for. The reading questions tell you what parts of the document you need to read and what you're reading for. In the writing, understanding the question is 1/4 of the mark. And in speaking, the questions guide you to use more complex grammar and vocabulary. Right. So we know all of that, but how do we get there? You've got to get it wrong. All right. The most important thing to do between now and the exam is to see how many questions you can get wrong. Yes, I know. I say things that sound absolutely daft. They sound insane, but you need to make, as many mistakes as you can. You need to get as many things wrong as you possibly can between now and the exam, because every time you look up that correct answer, so take the reading exam, all right? You've done a mock reading exam, you got the questions, you read the questions, you went into the documents, you looked for those answers. Now you've got the answer key and you see the questions you got wrong. Find out why. Okay? What is it about the answer they were expecting that you didn't understand from the question? How can you reread that question and get that answer and see that that was what they were looking for? If you do that, all right, if you do that, then what you're doing is you are unlocking the magic language hidden inside these questions. Okay. Every single one that you get wrong is a chance to learn, what are they trying to get me to say? What are they trying to communicate? All right. So that's what I mean about understanding the questions and developing this. And that's it. Practice will make it easier. And what you will find as you go through the mock exams in my big file, each one will get easier. They are on the easy side, I will confess. If you take one of the available ones online or the British Council test that's at the top of the file, those will be harder. But the point is that you're getting the practice, all right? And the more you get wrong, questions you practice, the more often you practice, the more questions you practice, the more you will get right. You really have to be all in for, I'm going to do this and see how many I get wrong and try and get as many as I can right. And I'm going to use all of those failures, all of those mistakes, all of those errors, however you want to say it. You've got to be willing to get it wrong in order to get it right. Okay. Every single error during practice is one less error you make during the exam because you understand more. All right. So this is my cue slide for this, and I really hope that a combination of really throwing yourself into the practice and analyzing what you get wrong. So please do send me your essays. If you're doing a mock reading exam or listening exam, and there's a question that you don't understand why the answer in the key is what it is, ask me. That's what the WhatsApp's for, honestly. Ask me these questions, and the more that you can understand these questions, the easier the exam will be. And I really just want everyone to go into the exam going, oh, I can do this. I can do this because it's familiar. I've done 20 practice exams and I know how this works. Okay. It's not going to make up for language and other levels, but you can do this. I do promise. And if you practice it, you'll get there. All right. That's enough of that. Resources, we've got, as always, I always have resource pages. And the other thing that we're going to talk about today before this ends is other exams. All right, we've had some questions about other exams. And has anyone looked at GCSE exams or A-levels or the functional skills exams? Has anyone looked at those or heard about them? Okay. So, well, what I've done is I've put together a little chart that hopefully will help answer these questions. Okay. So, do I need to take a GCSE exam? Well, it depends on where you want to go. Excellent. Good, Wilfred. Do you have a date for yours, or is it still just in preparation? No date. Okay, not yet. All right. But once again, please do use the contacts. Email me essays, ping me on WhatsApp if you want to practice speaking and just to get an idea of what you need to work on. Please do. All right. I do functional skills level 2. Okay. And I aim to do IELTS. Okay. So what I've done is set it up. These are the exams that I wanted to talk about. These are the qualifications that can be had in them. And here's the question, will this get me into university? The only one that is an option, a different option, is the Duolingo one. And you have to check with your target university. All right. So once again, so when we started this whole lovely journey together 4 weeks ago, I did say that the organization that is requiring the IELTS will tell you what you need to provide for English qualifications. All right. So if they have an IELTS score, they will mention other exams that they will accept. You can also send them a question. You know, I would email their admissions department for specific information about qualifications. All right. And I'm sure the tutors can help you even more than I on that. All right. But so Duolingo, there's an Oxford, I think there's an Oxford exam, and there's one other English exam that I haven't taught for. landed in IELTS, and there I've stayed. Um, but they're all fairly similar. They're all looking for the same 4 skills. You know, they're all going anything that is an alternative to the IELTS is going to be a 4 skills exam. All right. So listening, reading, writing, speaking. Okay. I didn't really like the structure of the Duolingo exam, but I'm biased because I spend a lot of time with the IELTS exam. All right. Okay. Oh, that's great, Fatima. And the thing is that if you're not going into I have taught the functional skills classes, remarkably, even the maths one, which still surprises me. But it was specifically for people who were in an apprenticeship program, and they had to have the equivalent of English and Maths GCSE. So that's great. If the functional skills, if you're just taking it because it's there and it gives you a chance to practice your English, fantastic. It's a great class. The functional skills English is actually very similar to the writing skills for the the task 1, actually, writing skill for the IELTS general training exam is actually close to the English functional skills exam. Ish. But so in that you have to write a letter or an email to solve a problem. All right. So so it's not bad practice. It's excellent practice. So well done. I just want people to be sure that they know that that is not a path to university. Okay, that will not get you there. The GCSE will. So the only example I have is, sorry, my youngest son, who went into maths at university with an A level in maths. The level doesn't matter. The functional skills are not university path. Okay. They're specifically set up to not be university path. They are support for apprenticeship and other certificate programs, right? Like you can get, God, what did they used to call them? They keep changing the names of some of these things, so it's hard. But if you want to get a qualification in hairdressing, you're going to need English and Maths GCSE. All right. So if you don't have that, and you're already in an apprenticeship hairdressing program, then you can take the functional skills exams to basically fulfill that requirement. All right. But they're usually for a work program or an apprenticeship program. All right. They're specifically not, it's GCSE to A level to university. So my son went in with only A levels in 2 subjects of maths, and they wanted an English GCSE from him. He did need it for that, but they allowed him to take an English proficiency exam while he was there. He had to write an essay and interpret, answer some questions on a reading thing. So it went fine. So usually, so GCSEs will support your entry into university, but it's your A levels that really, accompanied by ACAS, get you in there. All right, so that's the key. So I just wanted to clarify that path. Functional skills will not, They just don't count, unfortunately, unless you're going into a practical skills program, in which case, great. If that, they're certainly available at FE colleges in England. So Duolingo, there's tons of practice online. If you want to talk to me about it, feel free to give me a shout in WhatsApp or send me an email. Either one, I don't mind if you've got a question about that or any other exam. Okay, I'm happy to talk about them and answer questions. So you've got my contact information. You know how to use it. All right. Right. And there we are. Any further questions, my darlings? Anything else? So we've covered everybody from this. Oh, we were going to practice some resources. So how do you feel? Shall we look at some more resources, or are your brains full? So we could follow the link. I haven't introduced, oh, let's do this. I haven't introduced you to my favorite YouTuber. I'll be honest, I don't really want to create my own YouTube.
Grammarly doesn't just help you with.
Oh, hush, don't do that. This is my favorite YouTuber for IELTS. This is the only YouTube channel that I would recommend that you go to. There are a lot of really dodgy, very unhelpful advice tracks YouTubers out there. I spent before I found this woman. Yes, absolutely. Before I found Aisha. Is it Aisha? No, Asya. Yes, Asya. She's from Kazakhstan, and she is fantastic. She is the only person I have yet to disagree with any of her advice. All right. All of her lessons are spot on. So and you will find that she says the things that I say. Believe me, I didn't take my stuff from her. I've been teaching this a long time. I found her a couple of years ago and was just so grateful that I finally found somebody that I could send people to, because I don't really want to make a bunch of YouTube videos. It's okay. I have learned so many skills in my life. I don't need to learn another one. Well, not this one. Yeah, a lot of things I still want to learn, but I don't really want to learn how to create a YouTube channel. So fortunately, Asya has done it for me. So all of her videos are fantastic. If you go to her playlists, you will find everything you want to know. She does sell her courses, but so if it says full course, you probably want to stay away from that unless you really want to spend money on a course. But what you can do is go to, whoops, it's down below the line.
Here are some linking words, also known as cohesive devices.
There we go. Yes, she does have a vocabulary crash course. I would take hers because I'll have to look at that and see what I think. Sorry, I was trying to move this down so you could see the whole thing. There we are. All right. So she has specific playlists on listening and on, has she changed it? The academic writing. Oh, so, yeah. Tips for Band 9. All of these. I love her ones on the reading questions. They are fantastic. Oh, no, she's rearranged the whole thing. Oh, there we go. There's her reading. Oh dear. So yeah, the reading's getting harder. So, but all of her, if you go through all of her practices with the different question types, you will be a happy bunny. You will do better the next time you take a practice exam. All right. So, I just can't recommend her highly enough. She really is fantastic. Um, so please do, please do go to her channel if you've got questions about things and you're too shy to, and you haven't yet gone on WhatsApp to talk to me. So, um, that is, she is my absolute favorite YouTuber. You wouldn't believe some of the crazy uh, ideas that people spout in some of the other ones. Please don't take other people's advice. All right. Just a reminder that my drive is there. Has anyone accessed the materials um, on my drive? That's the wrong one. There we go. Yes, you can see all of my stuff. Well, why is it doing suggested files? Oh, there we go. That's the one. So what we're looking for is the IELTS practice, which is the one you have the link to. There we go. All right. So there is a British Council practice test. This file has got everything in it for a full. It's a couple years old, but not very. So these are the various listening tests that you can do. Ooh, cancel. Oh, that folder is going to disappear. These are some speaking clips that you'll see in the, so these are the videos as well. There might be a few here that are not oh yeah, there's definitely more here than there are in the YouTube list. So if you want to see any others, you can find them there. Has anyone used, oh, thank you, Indira. Has anyone used this file for the graphs practice or for any of the reading or any of the others? I need to know because I need to know if it's too difficult to get to, if there's a problem, if it's too hard to use, then there's no point that I won't spend as much time on it. So, okay. Oh, you open them? Oh, good. Thank you. That's really what I needed to know. If people can use them, if they're accessible, that's the important part. Okay. So, oh, good. The TEDx ones are terrific. I'm pretty sure that I include, yes, no, that's the, oh, let's see if this one works. Does it have, wow, okay, right. I need to, there's the answers, but I didn't see the link to the actual talk. All right, I will relink these. I'll recreate these and put in the links to the actual recordings. I'll put those on these pages. All right. Oh no, there's the video links. There we go. Okay, so the video links are there, and this should take you to the YouTube. Yeah.
Hey, wait. I need you to.
With commercials. Okay, so that will take us to the That will take us to the actual talk. There. Yeah. All right. So in that file, you should still be able to get to by going into the video links PDF. All right. So that will take you to all of those. And those are really excellent listening ones. I do recommend it. So, all right. That's I think pretty much everything that, and I have shown you the IELTS academic website. This is another teaching site. They have programs that you can sign up for. And they also have these wonderful practice tests with examples. So I hope you use them. As especially if you're approaching an exam, please you can use these resources even after the class is over. And yeah, so hopefully you'll be able to do that as well. And my contact links will also stay alive after the class is over. Don't worry. If you need to prepare for an exam, talk to me. I'm happy to help. All right. So thank you very much for joining me today. I'm going to